Hi, folks. This is Dr. Rob Cywes, and I just had like a little thought that I want to share with you. Sometimes these videos aren't science. They're just, interesting thought. So I have a ritual that I walk my dog. Actually, that's not true. Some days I walk my dog, some days he walks me, but we walk every day. A couple of times, 2-3 times a day at minimum. First thing in the morning, last thing in the evening, most often when I get home at night. And those are anchors in my emotion management system. Be that as it may, I live in South Florida where everything is green, everything is beautiful, gardens everywhere, and it looks lovely. The aesthetics are beautiful. But as I was walking my dog, I grew up in South Africa. I grew up in a farming community and on a small holding where we were very self-sufficient. And I've also interacted now more and more with a group of patients who have come to see me that have chosen this way of life as well. So here was my epiphany, my little thought. As I walked around and I saw all these beautiful gardens of lawns and carefully manicured hedges and and I thought, what the hell are we doing here? What for? Don't walk on the grass was the final little thing what the hell? Here we are spending thousands of dollars every year on these manicured, pretty gardens. Yeah, they're pretty, but who the hell cares about another lawn and another hedge? And some generic Home Depot plants that are stuck in the ground. Yeah, it's nice. The aesthetic is nice, but what an incredible waste of resources, of land, and everything's getting fertilized and the sprinklers are going off and we're overwatering and over-fertilizing. What the hell are we doing? And I know I'm not going to change the world with one comment. But the group of people that are coming into my practice are young couples, young families who've opted out. And guess what they've done? They've found a piece of land or they've converted their own property. They have become regenerative farmers. Regenerative farmers. And they bought the hog or two, they have the chickens, they maybe have some ducks. And by the way, that's how I grew up. I grew up in South Africa, in Cape Town, but we had 3 acres. There were always chickens, bantam chickens roosting up in the trees, but we'd find their nest, know where they were. And if the dogs didn't eat the eggs, the dogs would suck that egg out. Anyway, that's a different story. But we'd find the eggs, we had duck eggs, we had mallards. They were free, but they lived on the property. And then on other areas, we had sheep, we had cows. So these regenerative farmers are going back and establishing both as a profession as well as for their own families. They're getting off the grid. They have solar, they have wells, they have healthy brackish water or water with electrolytes and mineralites in it. Just shot a video on that. They have their chickens, they have their ducks, they have their pigs, their hogs, they have their sheep, they have their cow or their cows. It is so cool to see what these folks are doing and leaning more and more back to a carnivore-based diet. Are they farming with other things? Are they growing things? Of course they are, growing vegetables, maybe some berries. But it is such a cool concept of how to use your small holding. And here in Florida, the HOA says, no, you're not allowed to do that. Not allowed to do that. Really? Perhaps over the next few decades, I'm probably going to be too old. But think about how much money we pay for our gardens and for our maintenance and for our water and for our fertilizer. Why the hell can't we start doing our own backyard regenerative stuff? My dad lived that life. My grandfather always grew stuff, grew veggies, grew tomatoes, grew beans, grew cucumbers, grew squashes and pumpkins. What the hell has happened to us that we don't do that anymore? And if you're a young person, you're a little bit lost and you're not sure about yourself, take on the concept of regenerative farming. It is a beautiful growing industry, getting away from these big commercial conglomerates. And for those of you who are upset with Big Pharma and Big Medicine and the wayward nature of what they're doing, we also need to think the same about commercialization of agriculture. Let's grow our own. I'm going to start, because I'm going to raise Rion, my son, to have his hands in the dirt. I don't want to have to take him to a zoo to go see a damn goat. To not know where his meat comes from because it comes in a styrofoam package with plastic on it. I want him to go and see what meat looks like on the hoof. I grew up that way. And how many kids are not experiencing that? So we have an opportunity here, folks. And even if you don't have the opportunity, if you live in a small holding, if you live in because the third experience I've just had is I've just been traveling quite a bit. And there were times when I had to go back into restaurants. And my wife and I have not been in restaurants for 2 or 3 years because of COVID. It's quite amazing, having had that hiatus of cooking at home and sourcing our own food, to go into a restaurant and see the absolute sloppy shit that they feed us, that taste this disgusting food. I don't know if it was always like that and I just got used to it before, or if it's changed. But oh my God, the food generally tastes like crap. So if we have this mindset that we want to be keto carnivore, if we are supportive of the small regenerative farmer, and if we are looking for effort-based emotion management outlets, take your ass to the local farmer's market. Go and find that local farmer, that local butcher. Hey, where do you butcher this meat? We don't have to have the USDA certifying all our meat because they cut the fat out and they give us shit to eat. Because fat's really bad for you, you know? Find a local butcher. Find somebody who has an abattoir, a place where they can slaughter and make that food, that meat. Find a farmer's market where you can buy locally sourced produce and make your own. It's going to be tastier. It's going to be better. And it is fun. It is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful emotional outlet. Teach your kids how to source food, how to tap on a piece of food and see if it's ripe, see what it looks like. And even looks gnarly. Those gnarly tomatoes are often the nicest tasting tomatoes. And then show your child how to go from the farmer's market to the table to prepare that food. Because the beauty about a ketogenic carnivore way of life is we don't have to cook anything. Basically what I do with food is I chop it up and I heat it up. That's the extent of our cooking. But it can be really glorious. No baking, none of that nonsense. No lookalikes. So folks, this is a whole new world we can get into, and the opportunity exists professionally as well as personally. But we have to take that step. And if I'm planting that seed in my that little organic seed of being organic, of being local, of supporting or being regenerative, of perhaps taking some of your lawn and making it into a place where you can grow some vegetables, or some lettuce, or some tomatoes. It is fun, folks. It's better than any Netflix movie you can watch. Get out there and get your hands dirty. And be inventive and look at your local resources. I am the Carb Addiction Doc. If I've made you think, I've done my job. And for those of you that want to consult, how do I live a keto carnivore life free of carbohydrates, give us a shout. Consult with us. 561-517-0642. Text us, WhatsApp us, leave a message. We'll set it up for you. A regenerative lifestyle